Xin chào, Billboard Việt Nam. This is Alec Benjamin.
This night is cold in the kingdom. I can feel you fade away. From the kitchen to the bathroom sink in. Your steps keep me awake. Don't cut me down, throw me out, leave me here to waste. I once was a man with dignity and grace. Now I'm slipping through the cracks of your cold embrace. So please.
Nah, I think just like, the opportunity to get to tour again and to release a new album is a celebration in itself. I don't feel like I appreciated a lot of the opportunities that I had in the past. And the actual act of getting to tour and to sing the song and to perform it for people is the celebration that I need. So the celebration will be the tours that I'm starting next week.
This night is cold in the kingdom. I can feel you fade away.
You know what? It's interesting because I have seen on YouTube that like one of the places where my songs are viewed the most and the videos that are translated into Vietnamese have like some of the highest view counts of any views that or any videos that I have on YouTube. So I'm aware of that. And I was planning pre-pandemic to travel to Vietnam and hopefully do a show, but obviously that got in the way of a lot of my plans, so hopefully I'm able to come to Vietnam soon. The fact that I haven't been to Vietnam is not a reflection of my desire to go there. I think that like I really love. I actually, when I went to Singapore last time to perform, which feels like forever ago now, I had a meeting with a concert promoter who does a lot of shows in Vietnam, and we had completely planned an entire show and then had to cancel it. So I'll be there soon. Hopefully by the end of the year, and if not by the end of this year, the beginning of next year. I mean, not really, if I'm being honest. I'd love to say yes, but no. No. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen. Hopefully one day it'll happen, but I think for me, like, it's difficult to collaborate with people, or was difficult, given the circumstance of the state of the world. But for me, I think that I think collaborating with other artists is fun, but I most look forward to just making music by myself, to be honest. So not to burst anyone's bubble or ruin their dreams, but I don't know if that's on the horizon for me or not. There's a lot of distance between us. I mean, we both live on different sides of the world. It's easier to keep in touch with people that you live in closer proximity to. I'm not that busy, but like, hopefully I'm getting busy coming up now. So I think, but sometimes when you're busier, it's easier to collaborate because you're traveling and you get to see each other more often. And then when we were all kind of stuck in our houses, there was no real sort of, there was no real possibility for any of that. So I think sometimes being busy is good, but maybe that'll make it even more likely that we'll collaborate. I mean, I love Eric Nam. He's my friend, and I saw him actually the other day. His name is Eric Nam. He lives in LA, and we hung out the other day. And I think Blackpink is really cool. I mean, I've never met them, but I'm obviously a fan. And I watched this new TV show on Netflix called something Inferno.
Single Inferno.
Inferno, yeah. That's like a Korean name. Well, I also realized when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, like they were so much more buttoned up and respectful and like well put together than like American dating shows, which are just like a total disaster.
6 months clean off the dopamine through my phone.
So my new album is called Uncommentary, and the title is like a fusion of two words, uncommon and commentary, and it's supposed to stand for my uncommon commentary. A lot of it is inspired by some of the events that transpired due to the onset of the pandemic, and so I explore a lot of those themes, a lot of introspective themes about issues that I was facing. The first song on the album is called Dopamine Addict, and that's about sort of like my addiction to social media. I think the one theme that ties it together fully is that it's kind of an inquisitive album. Like it just I don't necessarily aim to take a stance on any of the particular issues that I'm exploring, but I do try to ask questions, and so I try to explore the nuance of a lot of the situations and a lot of the things that were going on, and I try to ask questions about them. And that's what really, I think, ties the whole record together.
The tools in your hand, I just have one question. If humans can do
So I have a song called like Hammers. That's a song about, you know, everybody has a hammer, either physically or metaphorically, and you can build things or you can break them, you know. And so the question is like, you know, what are you going to do with yours? And that's sort of like a sample of the vibe of the entire record. Well, I'm older, and I have a newfound appreciation for the things that I had taken for granted in the past, because I realize now that, you know, your plans don't really matter. You know, everything can change on a moment's notice, and so you have to kind of enjoy the process a little bit more. And also now I think I'm a little bit less afraid to show parts of myself that I have been afraid to show in the past. So I'm talking about topics and exploring topics and things that I hadn't explored before. And I think that this is an important side to my artistry that people should see. And I think that the album goes deeper than people would expect, having heard you know, just some of the singles. So I think that I thought about this project not as individual songs that I strung together and packaged as a record. I thought about this whole thing as an album, and I thought about what do I want to say and what topics do I need to explore in order to feel like I've completed this record. And so I don't think about them as individual songs. I think that every song has a place on this album. And I'm excited. I hope people like it.
Don't forget, this story's not over yet.
Well, I think I have a good ability to like empathize with other people and understand where people are coming from, because I like to pay close attention to detail. I think that even if I disagree with somebody, and at first I'm resistant to, you know, hearing their point of view, I think ultimately I'm interested in figuring out why people feel the way that they feel. And so I think that gives me the ability to write lyrics that a lot of people relate to. And I also think that, you know, even though in a lot of parts of my life I am self-conscious and maybe have anxiety about what other people are going to think about me, there are ways in which I'm fearless and I'm uncompromising and not concerned about what other people think. And so I maybe say the things that other people are afraid to say, and I'm not afraid to be vulnerable and be honest. And I think that ultimately, you know, the most important thing to do is to tell the truth, because I think that's what most people can relate to. I think that I am also I'm observant in a way that I think sometimes other people aren't. Like, I pay attention to things that oftentimes people don't necessarily consciously pay attention to, but they might take note of subconsciously. And when I talk about it in my songs, they go, "Oh yeah, I was feeling that way too, and I didn't even notice it." So I have, I think, an ability to bring things from people's subconscious to their conscious. Not to say that, like, you know, I don't feel like I'm better or worse or whatever than anybody at anything. I just think that, like, those are things that I try to do, and that I think that over time I've developed an ability to do. So. You know, I had dreams at the beginning of the pandemic that I would put up a show and that nobody would buy tickets, because I was afraid that people would forget about me. And to put up shows and start releasing records and start, you know, tweeting and posting on Instagram and stuff, and realize that that there are people who are still there and are interested in the things that I have to say, is a very satisfying feeling. And it makes me feel like I still have a purpose and a reason to keep doing what I do. So yes is the answer.
Don't forget, this story's not over yet.
Well, my first message is that I want you guys to know that I fully intend on coming to Vietnam to perform as soon as I possibly can. I had plans to come before the pandemic, but obviously the pandemic got in the way of a lot of those plans. So I want them to know that I still intend on coming out there as soon as possible. And also I appreciate that there's so much support from our music in a part of the world that I never imagined would embrace me so fully, and so it warms my heart to know that there are people that live so far away from me, that even speak a different language, that have embraced my music. It's a wonderful feeling. So thank you.
I can't escape my shadow.